We've been doing this series, and the first week was God is presence, and it's actually omnipresence. And the second week was God is omnipotence, or presence, or power. God is all power. And this week is God is omniscience, meaning all knowledge. Knowledge itself. God is these things itself. It's not that God has these things. Remember, God's not a person. And the sooner we quit looking at God to try to get God to do something, the easier our thinking will be. It'll be frustrating for a little bit because it can feel very bereft. Wait a minute. I've been trying to get God to do something. Didn't they tell me somewhere in Sunday school, somewhere, God will do something? Okay, ask God, God will do it. And I'm going to tell you, God will not do anything. God has done what God can do. Am I willing to follow through on the promises of God? And so if God is knowledge itself, then it must be that in spirit, I know. Capital K, I know. I know. I don't know what I know, but I know. And it's okay that I don't know what I know. But it's also okay that I know. And to just sit with that and say, I know. I know. Now, whatever it is that you're perplexed about, I know. I know that there is a solution here that is of peace, that is of love, that is of joy, that is for the good of all beings, even the ones I don't like. And there are a handful of ones I don't like, but I don't like them because I don't understand. That's why I don't like some people. I don't understand what I think their motives are, what I think their behavior is. I don't understand. I think, if I see somebody be unkind, I don't understand unkindness. I don't understand violence. And none of us do. But rather than to hate them, rather than to constantly look for what's the worst about them, how do I look for the best in me so that I can look in the mirror and see the best in what I call them, whoever them are? And so to look at all that, in our teachings and our foundation teachings, and I learned about the omniscience, the omnipresence, and omnipotence from Emily Cady, as I've been talking about the past couple of weeks. And Emily Cady is our foundation. She wrote the foundation book of Unity, a series of 12 articles called Lessons in Truth. She wrote it back in, late 1800s, early 1900s probably. And we still have one book of all the writings of Emily Cady. I have the others, the Lessons in Truth, on order. I think she's rewriting it right now. And that's why they're late coming in this week, because she climbs into that book and rewrites it when we're sleeping. And because no matter how many times I read that book, it's different. It keeps growing and expanding. And it's like, oh my goodness, didn't it have this many pages before? No, it has this many. But it's wonderful. But Emily Cady introduced that concept to me, God is all. And we made up the word God. So you can say spirit is all, principle is all, law is all. When some of us are so resistant to certain words because they scare us. Some people, I don't like the word law. Fine, don't use it. It's still going to be what it is. Law is the unchangeable. And principle, well, I didn't like my principal in high school. It's a different word, quite frankly. It's spelled differently. But principle, again, is that which does not change. And the sooner we become willing to get on board that there is an unchanging principle. And when I read this stuff, and as I was reading it this morning, again, reminding myself, God is all. God is. God is. God is. And I've heard enough people say, and I say, do you believe it? Yes. And so this can happen. And then I hear, well, I hope so. And I thought, you don't believe it. You'd like to believe it. And it's okay. It's a good start. I would like to believe these principles. That's why we come here. It's why we come up the steps. I would like to, but I don't quite. I still want to have some of my misery. I still want to have some of my confusion. I want some of that, because what would I talk about if I had no confusion? What would I talk about if I weren't raging about something? What would I talk about if I were critical of something? You know, are we just going to talk about how beautiful the flowers are? Even that's an opinion. You know, because, if you brought huge bouquets of lilies into this room, I might agree that they're beautiful, but I'm going to run from this room before my heart falls out of my head, or my chest, because it's the one allergic thing I seem to have, is lilies. And I tell you that I imagined it, but I'll know they're here without seeing them. Because I know the sensations in my body that happen when I'm in the same room as those big lilies. All of a sudden, I heard ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And there's lilies here somewhere. And sure enough, I'll find them. So I can't tell you it's in my head that. I used to think all allergies are imagined, but maybe not. But somehow there's an effect that it has on me. But the point is, it doesn't make lilies bad. Should I rage every day, on my social media, how awful lilies are? Lilies are terrible. Oh, don't go near lilies. Don't ever buy lilies. Don't do lilies, because lilies will attack you. And I want lilies to love me. I want to know that I am somehow loved by lilies, even if I don't want to be in the same room as them. And I want to know that I am loved by the people that I don't like, that I'm afraid of, many of whom I've not even met. And I want to know I am somehow loved by them, and that there is a divine journey. I want to know, capital K, know. I want to know in a way that I can't not know. And and it's a tough one to know. I am loved, and then I see violence happen. Wait a minute. We just on Sunday morning all talk about how we are loved. And if we are loved, how could this happen? I don't know. Except some of us forget. Some of us forget we are loved. Either that, or we chose a journey with certain companions that may seem very unloving. And yet they're guiding us to something that we need. Something very much that we need for a soul's journey. I'm open to possibility. I'm very much open to possibility. How is it that someone is born unwell? And they stay unwell in various forms, either be it physical, mental, what have you. It starts at birth. Nobody did that to them. And so I am a fool to think I understand it. And therefore to have opinions that say that should not happen. That poor person. I used to have a woman come to my class in New York, and she had 2 of those metal crutches that fit around your wrist, and she'd have a big bag of books, and she'd be walking in like this, and it just looked so uncomfortable, and oh my goodness. And one day I made a comment in class. I couldn't tell you her name anymore. It's been so many years since I've seen her. And I commented about how hard it must be for her. She said, "Oh no, I'm happy. I just don't look happy." She said, "This bag is full of books that I love. I'm in college in my 30s, and my way is paid, and I'm studying. Don't judge this. I'm fine. It's just the way that it is for now. But don't judge that at all." And I said, "Well, you just became the teacher of the class, didn't you?" And look, she passed that along today to us. So that we can quit judging by appearances, that we think, I wouldn't want to go through that, so therefore it must be bad. I don't know. There's some things I don't know. But I can know of spirit. I can know about my body from spirit. I can know things. David and I went to an event at Unity of New York Thursday night. It was called an ancestral clearing. This man, John Newton, was it? Yeah. John Newton. He was Superboy on TV. He was a very nice man, as far as I'm concerned. I'd never met him before. But he offered this to Unity of New York. No charge. All the love offerings went to the church. And he did this hour-and-a-half session. And some of it was to get you to sign up for his weekend seminar. But that's fine. I couldn't go. I didn't care. I liked his demeanor. Not everybody does. Not everybody likes my demeanor, We know what we resonate with. I really liked his demeanor, and I raised my hand at one point because he said, does anybody here hate anybody? I do. And I had a very specific person in mind that has been weighing me down for years with my thoughts about them. And he started talking about things through the centuries, like with ancestors, and I couldn't tell you what he said anymore. And I felt something shift in me. And my knees got easier. Sitting down, suddenly there was no pain in my knees. And it was fascinating to me how this happened. And I've been living in the effects of that since. That particular person has not been weighing down my heart. In fact, 2 days later, I had a big dream about that person. I can't tell you, we were pals in the dream. But it's clear we're looking for a way to communicate. It's very clear to me that he and I are looking for some way to communicate in peace, in joy, in love. David had something else. David had a little vocal trouble, and he raised his hand to seek for that. And it was interesting that John went through his thing, all of a sudden mentioned bullies. Bullies, and David's like, we let the bullies go, and we forgive, and whatever it was he said, because it's not dissimilar to the correct perception, except he goes on a train and doesn't stop till he's finished with each person there. And the next night, we were sitting at dinner, and I said, David, I got to tell you something. I have to apologize for where I've been a bully. It really hit me when I heard that word bully, and I thought, I bullied him when I've been in a mood. I don't go home and beat him. I don't do any of that. But I don't always treat him respectfully. Why would I? Live with them. But over the years and all, and when people are bullies, they think somebody deserves it at the time. If you didn't do this, I wouldn't have to speak this way. If you didn't do this, and so, but it really hit me. And so Friday night at dinner, I said, I really want to apologize to you for the times that I have bullied you. It's not like I constantly, but enough times hurts his feelings, and it does not bring peace to our home. And so later that night, I said, by the way, David, do you now know what came about from Thursday night? He said, what? I said, I apologized to you. One of your bullies apologized. So there are effects.
And it meant a great deal to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were there at Schnippers on 41st Street, and we both nearly cried. Schnippers is delicious. I recommend it. It's a really good grilled cheese, let me tell you. It was a vlog from the theater we were going to. But to look at things that things have effects that I'm not even paying attention to. We don't know what will come today from correct perception. We don't know what will come as a result of our meditation or our prayers or Reyes's reading or the songs Kenneth sang or the choir sings. We don't know what will come. But are you willing to know that only good will come from it? In your knowledge that is built in. It's built into every cell, every tissue, every fiber of your being. In your knowledge, you can go ahead and know. I know only good will come from this morning service. Not some good, but only good will come from this time, brother and sister, amongst each other. Only good will come. Even if at fellowship somebody looks at me in a way that I think they hate me, I think they whatever. Because I've had a lot of those in my life where you think somebody doesn't like you or they think you don't like them. And you find out, oh no, there was sun in my eyes. Oh no, what are you talking about? Oh no, I was just in thought that day. Oh no, somebody I know was hurt that day. I wasn't thinking about you, to be honest. And that stuff in us that makes it up. We tell ourselves what you're thinking and what you're thinking and what you're thinking and what you're thinking about me. About me, of all people. That I would presume that you are thinking about me. I know you don't like me. We haven't met yet. I knew when we met. Did we meet? I don't remember meeting you. And It's a bizarre thing, and if you're ever in any kind of public eye, people make up a lot of stuff about you and think they know you, and they don't. And you'll sit in a class with somebody, and you'll answer things in a certain way, and people will make your classmates will either think you're amazing, or they will hate you for what they think about themselves. They will either love you or hate you for what they think about themselves. When I was in school with Unity Village, I was from New York and Eric Butterworth Church. That elevated my status in many ways and made others resentful because they thought I was in a clique that did not exist. And I heard it once, you're not going to let me have it with your New York ways. And I thought, what are you talking about? I'm just here taking classes. You want to sit at my lunch table, go ahead. I'm not sitting here with all New Yorkers. I'm the only New Yorker in this class. And a woman came up to me, I was talking about, what's her name? The soap opera star who was a Unity teacher. Ruth Warwick. I was talking about something she had done in a class, or in a teacher, where she used a magnifying glass to read. And so she kind of looked like that movie poster of Ant, where the eye was this big. And we were talking about stage technique. Don't use a glass when you're on stage. Use a bottle or something, because the glass will magnify your face. Things like that. And so I said, Ruth Warwick, Liza's teacher's part of our church, and our opening service, she did this. And a woman came up to me afterwards and said, may I touch you? You know Ruth Warwick. And it's that kind of stuff that they make up stuff about you. I make up stuff about people. Hard to believe, but I do. I often do it on the highway. And rarely do I decide that they are in an emergency and have to get somewhere. That's rarely the first thing, and I don't want to do that either. I don't say, they must be in a tragedy, and that's why they're trying to get there. Really, is that what I want to bless them with? I don't want to bless them with anything except a smooth journey. Because why? Because that's what I want. How many people here want a smooth journey? Wherever, if you're walking, if you're driving, if you're flying, if you're living, you want a smooth journey where you know what to think at every turn about everyone you come in contact with. And you want to see them as God sees them. As you know God must see them. Would you be willing to know, right here, right now, that everyone you see is loved by God and cannot not be loved by God? Everyone on this planet is loved by God, whether they know it or not, and whether you know it or not. Are you willing to know? And it has nothing to do with their behavior. It has nothing to do. I remember many years ago, it was during an election time, but I was very involved with the Church of the City then, before I had this job, so it's a lot of years ago. And I remember the minister who was a little prejudiced one way in his political favorites. And he would actually talk about it on stage, which surprised me. But one day he said something in office, and I said, I got to ask you something. You're the one that taught me there's only one. One power, one presence. As the universe and as my life, God the good. I said, so how can there be, in truth, Republicans and Democrats? How can there be? I know it's a game we play, but in truth, because you're my minister and you're speaking as if there's this and that. And his response was, it's a process, Shawn. I could buy that. Okay, fine, you're in your process too. But would you stop preaching as if there's both and trying to manipulate your community? Because, and I think a lot of ministers do that. A lot of religion does that. It tries to sway a certain way to get people to agree. I want to sway us all right now that we are all worthy of the love of the kingdom, and that all beings are worthy of the love of the kingdom. If you're ever invited to Reyes's house, I'm going to tell you something that's wonderful about Reyesa as a host. This is my favorite thing about her. there's no political talk allowed.
Very good.
Many a conversation in the past couple of years has been interrupted around the pool if she swims by. Says, please don't do that here. And I've seen people go, I say, sorry, can't continue. I swim away. Because she lives in an aquarium. And it was such a gift she gave me as a guest to know there's no room for that talk on that day, to pretend there's this and that. I really want to know to the depths of my being that there is only one power and one presence as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotence. I'm quite certain it's not just an affirmation. I'm quite certain it's not just idealism. I'm quite certain, actually, that it is a reality that I haven't yet gotten on board in the practice of. I know that the oneness is a reality, but I've not yet gotten on board with the practice of it. Because it's not nearly as entertaining as the other. And so, does anybody here want to get on board with me in the practice that there's only one power and one presence as the universe and as my life? And it's and for right now, it can be just a theory, but do you want to prove the theory true?
Yeah.
Do you want to prove the theory? And it's not about hating the people who don't want to get on board. We can't get together and criticize the people who don't want to get on board yet, that don't want to play, because then we're still practicing duality. Then we're no longer on board with there's only one power and one presence. See, it's weird and it's hard because it's insidious. That's the word I'm looking for. It's insidious. Okay, I'm on board. God is love. God is light. God is... And how can all these other people not want to be with this? Well, you just left the train. And it's just like, okay, let's get on board again. And I have to remind myself dozens of times every day to get back on board with what I'm talking about up here. Because it's so, you get a bill, you get a leak, somebody looks at you the wrong way, something happens with your car, something, you gain weight, you try to lose weight and you don't. It's the amount of hair you have, the amount of hair you don't have. It's curly, it's straight. It's somebody reminds you of your parents call. So suddenly you want a cigarette. You haven't smoked 20 years, you want a cigarette. All these things, the distractions that make you get off the board. And then you got to work to get back on. So, today, would it be okay, at least for this moment, to know, I know I am good. To know all beings are good has nothing to do with their behavior. To know that we are being divinely led to our next good. To know, capital K, to know that even if this moment hurts, I know peace is prevailing, because that is the only possible outcome. I can't tell you this earth is going to last forever. I'm quite certain this body isn't. I'm quite certain of that. I don't know when it's going to transition or transform, but does that mean the I am of me is going to go away? Does that mean the I am of me won't always be present in the presence? The I am of me, the I am of you, the I am of them, the I am, that which is our direct relationship to God, is our I am. I was at a gathering recently and a woman came up to me and told me she was a Presbyterian minister. And I must have sworn at that gathering or something. She liked me. Oh no, she liked me a lot. And she would say something about taking God's name in vain. And I said to her, we don't look at it that way. We don't look at that, damn it to God's name or something. That is not how we see taking God's name in vain. To claim I am sick, I am poor, I am destitute, I am this, I am that. That is taking God's name in vain, since I am is God's name. The truth, I am. It's my identification with my divinity. And so, to join with the being here, in divinity, to join in mind, in spirit, with my divinity, with our divinity. And if we keep joining, eventually, there can't be anyone without divinity. That anyone that is not connected. There can't be. And so continue to ask yourself to become willing, to continue to affirm, I know what's true. I know what's right. I know whether I act on it or not, but I know. Let's no longer pretend that we do not know the good that we are, the good that they are. Let's no longer pretend to not know the good that life is, the good that love is. Let's no longer pretend that we are somehow separate from it in our declarations of I don't know. Let's start declaring, I do know. I just know. I don't know how I know. I just know. Every one of you are here today, correct? Anybody not here? Well, I did wonder. She raised her hand back there. I think that was you. We're here because we know. There's a lot of things we say and do because we know. There's a lot of conversations we have because we know. It's when we start to lash out and act out that we want to pretend we don't know, that we want to pretend it's bad, that it's this, when we don't know what it is. But am I willing to know God is, therefore I am? And then breathe. And then breathe. And then breathe. Let's go ahead and open our minds today. There is only one power and one presence as the universe and as my life, God the good. Could we say that together? There is only one power and one presence as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotence. Let's say it again. There is only one power and one presence as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotence. And one more time. There is only one power and one presence as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotence. I know this is so, and I say thank you and amen.